For some, travel is from a small island in the Mediterranean Sea. For others, they pass the Twin Cities or through the Big Apple. For others, it is oil derricks, a Napa Valley vineyard, for myself, through the Gateway Arch. A few days away from the land of Shinar, it became visible, a shimmering thread sewing earth to heaven. As each day passed, closer than before was all that could be seen. Nothing else was like it. They gave it their attention. When they arrived, they met a multitude of others, all standing around the massive platform of the tower. Over 100 million came each day to stare at it. You, like so many, do enjoy looking at it. You find that it can be very useful, because it brings interesting people who enjoy looking at it and even building it. A few of them have platforms protruding from the tower itself, and they can be heard by millions. Most people stay to watch the show. They are told how it is supposed to work and how to build it up. They all begin to speak one language for one goal: to build the tower, to reach the sky. And by watching, they work the kilns, the 1,000 kilns that burn the bricks to raise up the tower. Most people watch the show, like gladiators fighting lions. Then one day a shadow cast upon some, and they lose interest and notice something else. Around the base of the massive tower, there they find less people. Some have tents where the selected few speak. You can listen as you walk by. However, others have campfires with music and stories, full of fun and community. You can listen as you walk by and even sit around and join them if you want. There is, however, a price to pay at the campfire. You just need to know what is actually valuable. For those just passing by, they may try to use money. However, they need to invest some time to listen, so that they can hear that it could just be a speck of gold, or simply a cherished rock from a little one's sandcastle. While we are on the platform, we should render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. We do not have to play their game, however. It doesn't mean we have to be like gladiators fighting lions. We can play by our own rules. It doesn't have to be a competition. Maybe it's just fun as playing cops and robbers. Towers have a tendency of being knocked down and scattered about. They can only get so tall. Well, alright. So, just so you guys know, you should check and make sure your mic's on. Otherwise, you're sitting there talking to yourself like an idiot. So, today I wanted to do a double-sided video. A little Abraxas joke here. Just leaving some Easter eggs here and there because it's fun. I like to have fun. And I think there are many others out there who like to have fun. And, speaking of fun, let's get a quick word from our sponsor. Are you sick and tired of being asked about the TLC? When you look at this corner, do you not even think that it's a thing? Well, if you're like me, raise your hand. Because I got what you need. You need tealostea. That's right. Grab yourself a nice hot cup of tealostea. Without tealostea, it's not a thing. Sometimes you just gotta, I don't know. Maybe I like lemonade a little bit, if you know what I mean. It's good stuff. So why is this a double-sided video? Well, part of this is, I wrote the first half of this, and there was a particular response that Luke Thompson left in one of my videos that I had a conversation with Jonathan Demir, and we were talking about the differences between the written word and audible thinking. And this is something I've been thinking a lot about, mainly because I practice audible thinking frequently while driving to work. I like to record myself and talk out loud. And this right here, what I'm doing right now is a lot like that. Whereas a written word is something, it's obviously similar, but there's something different that you can't do, right? You can reiterate over it. And so I had an opportunity to slow down and iterate over the writing and be a lot more selective about the words that I was going to use, possibly add some, I don't know, rhythmic flair to it. And what I'm trying to do now is I'm really trying to get into a flow state. I want to get into an audible thinking flow state. And that's what I'm ultimately trying to do most of the time when I get into this audible thinking mode. Now, one of the things I wanted to do with this video, though, is obviously thank everybody. I got a lot of really amazing responses on the video. Had a number of people start up channels, which is awesome. And I highly encourage everybody to make a channel. I find it interesting that there's a lot of people, not a lot, but there's people out there saying, don't make a channel. So says the person with a YouTube channel. Okay? So I want to actually change the game. I want to flip the script. And let's just not play the YouTube game, right? Before I started, I was all nervous and, I got to make this YouTube channel and you got to follow all these rules. And it's like a competition, right? It's not a competition. It's a competition if you think you want to be some YouTuber. But I'm not trying to do that at all. I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to somewhat engage this community. I'm somewhat trying to cause some waves in this community. I think I've done that. And yeah, I don't know. So, but the thing about protocols, though, right? I wanted this to be about protocols and proverbs. So the protocol part of this is there was a couple people who made videos, but I didn't know about it. And I didn't know about it because we don't have like some agreed upon, I don't want to say agreed upon, but there are useful ways to use YouTube, right? YouTube works in a particular way. It's an algorithm. And if you don't tell it how to deliver your videos, it's not going to know how to do that. If you don't put any keywords, if you don't put any particular titles, then it's just only going to basically send it to the people that are connected to your subscriptions or the people that frequently watch or listen to your videos. So I was thinking that because this thing's organic, and I was sort of reflecting earlier today while reading Proverbs, and one of them that came to me was about considering the ways of the ant. And it basically says that the ant doesn't have a chief or an officer or ruler, but yet she prepares her bread in the summer. And I thought that's a lot like what's going on here. This thing's organic. There is a bunch of channels that make up this corner of the internet. We can get into word salad all we want to. It's not really the point. The point is that, the second you do put a leader to it, it becomes something different, right? There's something about the organicness of this that I think is unique. And hopefully I'm going to bring something to the table. And hopefully all these other new channels will bring something to the table. I was thinking about this one earlier. So something about Jordan Peterson, he talks about, you barely know yourself and think about how much you know somebody else. Like, you can learn something from everybody. Okay? You can learn something from everybody. Everybody has a unique perspective on things. And take that and you go, okay. Pageau, he talks about, you got the fairy tales, and there's a very particular thing about the fairy tales. Right? Don't mess with them, right? They're good stories. You don't need to invert them. You don't need to change the characters all around. It's just leave the story alone. And it just made me think about going to my daughter's play. Okay. My daughter's play, she was Nala in The Lion King, baby Nala. And it's just like I would rather see the same story by some of the people in this community. Okay? You don't need to make up some fancy new story. But every single person has a unique perspective. and like right now, I don't even know what I'm doing, in the sense that I don't really know what I'm saying. I'm not scripting this, so it's just sort of coming out, and it's just all these different people have different perspectives of things. So you don't have to make up some fancy story. You just tell your story, or just tell your view of something that we've heard a million times. It doesn't really matter. So, yeah, just kind of going back to Proverbs just for a second. I want to finish this one out. So with Proverbs, he talks a lot about, Lady Wisdom versus Lady Folly. So to me, the regular way most people look at YouTube is Lady Folly. Right? She's wayward. She's calling you in. She's making everybody come in and look and cause a lot of chaos. And it's like the Real Housewives kind of reality drama. Whereas Lady Wisdom is different. Right? Lady Wisdom's like, get insight, get wisdom. And I think that's more what's happening in this corner. I think we have more people who are interested in wisdom and insight and inspiration and stories and all the other things that bind us together. It's not one thing, right? It's not one thing. Even though I know people get all worked up about some of this stuff. Anyways, I'm not going to get into this anymore. So, you know what? I'm just going to leave you with some wisdom that my father left me. So, hope you enjoy.
Lighten up, Francis.